these tamales. We've been waiting a long time for this. I almost want to get in there and get it. Smells good. Mmm. Wow. Hello, I'm Chef Don McMillan, and welcome to Simple and Delicious Recipes. Now, I have in front of me, look, these corn husks. So you're probably saying, I know he's going to make tamales. I am. I'm going to make the best authentic Mexican tamales verde you've ever had, and every bite is going to be delicious. Listen, I have here my smoked pork picnics, or smoked pork butts, however you want to call them. This is delicious, and we'll show you how to hook it up with so many other different things. But today, we're going to hook it up with tamales. And also, you're going to want to see below, because I'm going to put both of the links to it. But I have here my salsa verde. It is absolutely delicious. It's great even the next day. You're going to want to make this, so check out the video below. But before we can do any of this, we got to make the masa. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I want to make my tamale dough, and what we have here is the Masa Harina. We have here some baking powder, salt, beef stock, and I have lard. That's right, lard. And what we're going to do is just beat up the lard with a little bit of the stock, just to soften it up a little bit. So this is a roux whisk, if you're kind of wondering what kind of funny whisk that the chef is using today. And it's just a roux whisk. Just want to kind of soften up the lard. That's all we have to really do. Okay, so once it's soft, what we want to do then is we're going to add our salt. And we're going to add in our baking powder. And then, using your hands, which are your very best tools, right? We just incorporate the dry ingredients. And once that's done, we're then going to take in the fat. So we're going to mix in the fat with and using your two best tools, right? Your hands, just squeezing it together just like this. Okay? And then we're going to add into it our stock to make the dough. Okay, so as you see, I'm incorporating the stock. I want a spongy dough, okay? Spongy, so it needs to be a little bit more spongy. I know we're using my hands, and some people out there like to use those wonderful devices known as machines, but these are the earliest machines known to man. It's your hands, and that's how you get the feel of it. And that's why I'm always teaching when we're working with doughs, is to see how it feels, because if you don't, it's not going to come out the way you want it to, even if you use the best machines out there. Okay, now let's gather up all of this. And so we're looking at a spongy type of dough that you can spread, okay? If it's too thick to spread easily, okay? I don't mean slurry like pouring it, but spread. If you can't spread it, then just add a little more stock. And you notice when I was adding the stock, though, even though the recipe said a certain amount, I kept doing it with the way it was feeling it, because when you make different types of doughs, the companies have different mills and they're different fineness, okay? So even though you're measuring by the cup, it could be just a little bit different. So just go slowly, and there we go. So our masa is now ready. So let's go ahead and finish off those tamales. Well, our masa is done. I have my pork ready right here. I have my salsa verde, and I have my corn husks. And I did soak the corn husks for about 2 hours. I put in one of those Ziploc bags with some warm water, seal them, and let them soak, because we want them to be pliable, okay? So important to do that ahead of time. Now, I have here a dough scraper, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do it, because what we want to do is we want to put a smear of this wonderful masa inside, but you don't want to put a whole lot, and you don't want to be messing with a spoon and everything else. So you have some on your scraper and just push it down just like that. See? Again, put some up there, lay it out. Sometimes you have to just pull it apart just a little bit like that, and then down like that, and then just keep going. I like to do all of these first before going back and forth, kind of time consuming. And I tell you what, if you have some young people at home, I certainly would encourage them to partake, because they love to do fun things like this. And I have found over and over again, when I involve young people in the cooking, we get them to eat, right? So that's why I like to even put in some foods that are good for them, some fresh foods, okay? None of that stuff that you buy at the fast food, all that fried stuff. You want food that, I know, tastes good, but fun foods. But when young people start getting involved in the cooking process, I know for a fact that they do eat, and that's the whole important thing, right? And of course, you're building memories. You're building up those wonderful memories. They're going to come back and they say, I remember when I was cooking with my mom or my grandma or my grandfather, right? I cook with all my grandkids, okay? And they love it. And they'll have those memories for their whole life. And I have great memories of cooking with them. Even better memories with getting them to eat all those foods they tell you they don't want to eat. Because you know why? If they cook it, then it's their food that they're eating, not somebody else's. Okay, so we got one more left. And now the next thing, and it's really simple, is to take a little bit of the salsa. I have my salsa verde, and I have a little bit of the pork. You can put a lot if you like. You know, you can stuff it up, and then you fold it, fold it, fold it, just like that. Let me do it again, okay? So you have the salsa, put it right there. Take some of the pork, place it in there. I have a bigger piece here, so I'm going to add a little extra pork, right? And then you just fold it, fold it, fold it. And you keep doing that until you get all of them done, and then I'm going to show you how we put them in the pot so we can cook them. Well, we folded our tamales, now we have to cook them. Of course we have to cook them, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stack them on top right into this pot, and then we're going to get them all stacked up in there, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to steam them. So first of all, let's go ahead and start putting these in right now, and I'll show you how it looks in just a minute. A little bit tricky getting them to stand up, right? But once you start stacking them into side by side, you'll see they all stack up pretty good. Have them at a future date. They freeze up beautifully. They heat up. They taste great. They're great for a snack. So many wonderful treats. I just love all this food, don't you? I mean, isn't it all this great tamales? And look, I stacked them up. You can see them in there. We can put a few more and just stack them up tight, and then I'm going to show you how to cook them. Well, I have my pot just loaded with tamales. Check it out. Loaded with tamales. I have water down just underneath that screen, and they're not floating in the water, but just enough so the steam will come up. And in order to keep the steam in there, I have some of these extras. So let's just go ahead and put those right on top of the wrappers. And then we have a clean cloth, and I'm just going to kind of fold that over the top before I put the lid on, just like this. Keep that steam in there, right? Okay, and we'll just put the lid on. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the fire and just get it started and just let it simmer. It's going to take at least an hour. We're going to check them in a while just to be sure. So after about an hour, I'll check them, and then we'll come back. If we need to cook them a little bit more, we will. But they're going to steam, and they're going to cook up, and they're going to be ever, ever so good. Well, it's been an hour and a half. I know that these tamales are going to be perfect. But let's go ahead and check them out right now. Let's put our lid off to the side. Let's remove this toweling. Be careful, it's hot. Steam is very, very hot. So always be cautious with the steam. This is the extra wrapping we put in there. Okay, now the trick is when you open it up, it should be solidified and not just a paste. So let's see if we can just do that here. Look how beautiful that is. Look. Well, let's get in there, right? Try it. You know I'm going to do that, right? These tamales, we've been waiting a long time for this. I almost want to get in there and get it. Smells good. This is the real deal. When you want to make authentic tamale verdes, this is the recipe you want to make. You know, we've got it down below. Check it out. Also add your comments. Let me know what you think, because it's very important that we can share information, and I do respond to all the comments below. And also check us out on Patreon. We really can use your support. And when you do, we're able to supply more of these wonderful recipes, and we're going to give them to you before anyone else does. You'll get them first. You'll also get them without looking at all those commercials. And of course, we'll even show you some extra material that you just want to know. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Hit that like button. Share it with your family and friends, because we do have so much more to share. And always, when you're cooking with Chef Don, it's absolutely simple and delicious.